I just don't know why this movie exists.
Oh my God! Hey. Awful.
The Bad Education movie is yet another BBC TV show that has been turned into a movie. It follows the final trip that the beloved Class K and their goofy but lovable teacher Alfie Wickers take to Cornwall. Comedy ensues. Jack Whitehall plays Alfie Wickers absolutely perfectly, and he does in this too. The same goes for the rest of the cast, actually. They all want to be there. And that's pretty much the only good thing about the movie. It's just downhill from there. The comedy misses so hard 99% of the time that it is just painful. They go so low and get so desperate for cheap laughs that they show Jack Whitehall's balls not once, not twice, but 3 whole times. It's not funny the first time, and it's painful the third time. There's a scene which is in the trailer, and believe it or not, still isn't the last time we see Alfie's genitals, where he is bullied by his old school buddies to, how do I put this lightly? Teabag a swan. There's a close-up of his balls, like going around the swan's head, then it gets spooked and bites them and hangs on and flaps its wings for a whole excruciating 10 seconds. Now, 10 seconds may not sound like a long time, but it is an eternity when it's dedicated to a terrible, unfunny joke. Just think, some poor soul had to make prosthetics of Jack Whitehall's balls, and then they had to remote control an animatronic swan to then bite those balls. Pretty rough day. Really, that's a crazy day in the office. As soon as you start this movie, you already know what the rest is going to be. The whole hour and a half of pain is going to be. Now, I'll give you a couple seconds to guess the edgiest way that they could start this entire movie. Poop joke, racist thing, a wheelchair joke. No. First scene of the whole movie, they're in a Holocaust museum. And then they use Remdog's wheelchair to skip the whole line. Guess what? Alfie's drink gets spiked. Then he starts tripping out, steals an Anne Frank mannequin, wraps it in a blanket, finds a bike, puts it in the front of the basket. You already know where this is going because he's wearing a red hoodie. Then he tries to fly, but ends up falling into a river as the police chase after him. Get it? Because pop culture reference equals A+ comedy. Ooh, boy. The comedy in this movie goes so low and attempts to stay relevant so awfully that there's an Ebola joke in this movie. Like an actual Ebola joke. And it's not that I'm offended. You know, I'm not like, oh, how dare you make fun of Ebola. It's just that it was funny for like a week in the middle of 2014. And I still didn't find it funny. And this movie, just to let you know, just in context, this came out in December of 2015. There are maybe a whole 2 or 3, maybe almost chuckle-worthy moments inside of this entire movie, and that is really stretching it. The writing in this is probably some of the worst comedic writing that I have ever seen, especially compared to the TV show, which I absolutely love. All of the characters are just a hollow shell of what they were in the TV show. It's like, oh, get it? Because Remdog is in a wheelchair. Oh, get it? Because this one's fat. Oh, get it? Because insert character name is insert cliche/stereotype. Get it? It's funny. Comedy. And it sucks because the TV show, while it did do that and it played on how the characters were, it was still clever about it. And it actually made me laugh without resorting to Jack Whitehall's balls being bitten by a swan. I have no idea how this movie went so wrong, especially considering it has the exact same cast, the exact same people writing it, and the exact same director. How do you do that? No, really, why was this movie made? I really can't think about why this movie was made. Like, why was it made?
Always Sunday.
Oh, 'cause money. Maybe Jack Whitehall went on a crack binge. I don't know. Wrote this at 4 o'clock in the morning and accidentally made an entire movie in his sleep. I would believe that. I would believe any explanation that isn't, oh, Jack Whitehall basically just killed his baby in the form of a film. And the thing is, Bad Education is Jack Whitehall's baby. He absolutely loves that show, and making this movie is like grabbing that baby and just crushing it with his bare hands. That is what he has basically done with this. And the fact to even consider making this movie, the whole timeline of the TV show had to be changed and ruined, and this is essentially an alternate universe or an alternate timeline to the TV show, just shows how much of an obvious cash grab this piece of trash movie is. The Bad Education movie is one of the worst comedies that I've ever seen. Like, I'd put it up there with Biodome, except Biodome is on a shelf by its own. I should get a copy of Biodome and burn it, because I hate that movie. Pauly Shore in anything but Encino Man. The direction is decent, the writing is god-awful, and the acting hurts me, because I can tell that they actually wanted to be there, and I have no idea how they actually pretended that the material was decent. This movie has pretty much ruined the entire TV show, and if you haven't seen the TV show, don't watch this movie. If you have seen the TV show, don't watch this movie either. Don't do it. I would not pick this movie up even if it were at the bottom of a $5 IGA bargain bin, even to burn it as firewood, even to burn it for a video. I just don't want to know that I have touched a physical copy of this thing. And that's why the Bad Education movie gets a 2 out of 10. I really wanted this to be good. Alright, I love the TV show, as I've said a million times in this review, but I couldn't recommend this to anyone unless they really, really love slapstick humor and physical humor and lowbrow, gross-out humor that just sucks. And it's not even done well here. This really was a terrible send-off for the TV show. Really, I will stick with season 3. This movie does not exist. Come on, man. I cried at the season finale. Can you let me have that? Okay, I'll give you credit for that. I'm just gonna pretend this movie doesn't exist. Have you guys seen this? What did you think of it? And by the way, just because I give a negative review to a movie doesn't mean that you shouldn't like it or you can't like it. If you enjoyed the trailer, I'd actually recommend checking this movie out because it's exactly the trailer for the entire movie. The dad is like the only funny thing in this whole entire crap fest. Anyway, what did you think of it? I have reviews for Zoolander 2 and possibly Deadpool coming up, so that is fun. Anyway, hope you have a great day and happy watching. Oh my god. Ooh. Ooh, boy. Alvin and the Chipmunks Road Trip, not to be confused with Fast and the Furious, or Mad Max Furry Road, or The Sweet Embrace of Death. Is yet another Alvin and the Chipmunks movie. The whole plot is basically, oh cool, Dave is getting married, but oh no, who would have known the person he's getting married to has a really annoying son named Miles? No movie has ever done this before. Now we have to foil the marriage. What? I mean, it's all cool until they're like, oh, you know what? We should steal the ring.